Recording in progress.
Good evening. I call to order this February 21st, 2023 meeting of the Board of Aldermen. Would you please all rise and join me in this Pledge of Allegiance? Roll call, please.
Alderman Plufka.
Here.
Alderwoman Tice.
Here.
Alderwoman Sims.
Here.
Alderman Weggie.
Here.
Alderman Gould.
Here.
Alderman Lockmiller.
Here.
Alderwoman O'Neill. Alderman Shelton.
Here.
All members are present.
Thank you very much. Before we move on to the approval or amendment to the agenda, I just want to introduce myself. I am an alderman in Ward 1. My name is David Plufka. I am here serving as temporarily as mayor while our mayor is at a legislative conference in Jefferson City working to try to lobby for the rights of not just the city of Brentwood, but municipalities across the state of Missouri. So we wish him well in that, and we hope he gets back here quickly to preside over the next meeting. With that said, number 3 on our agenda tonight is the approval or amendment of the agenda. Has everyone had a chance to review the agenda? Are there any changes that anybody wants to make? Seeing none, the agenda will stand as submitted. Number 4 are the announcements and appointments. We have 2. We have one from the fire department and then one from the police department as well. Ronnie, come on up.
Good evening. Thank you for this opportunity. Introduce our newest firefighter and allow his wife to pin his badge. So let me introduce Nick Simon. He began his career at Brentwood on January 30th of this year. Nick was raised just down the street from Brentwood in Warson Woods. Throughout childhood, he frequented the many restaurants and shops that Brentwood has to offer until he attended Rockhurst University in Kansas City. Nick graduated from Rockhurst in 2017 with a Bachelor of Business Administration with concentration in marketing. After college, Nick worked for a large company selling software to businesses in the Kansas City area. He later decided that the business world wasn't his true calling. After some time and reflection, he pursued the path to become a firefighter. He obtained his EMT license in Kansas City, then moved back to St. Louis for paramedic school. Nick has worked for Abbott Ambulance for 3 years as an EMT, then paramedic, prior to his start with the Brentwood Fire Department. Nick currently lives in Maplewood with his wife Haley and their dog Milo. On his days off, you can find Nick fly fishing on a stream or lake. He did work at a local fly shop, by the way, too. So, off the water, he enjoys making his own flies by hand, spending time with his family, friends, or eating at one of his favorite restaurants. We are honored to welcome Nick as a new member of the fire department and look forward to him having a long and healthy career. Nick's wife, Haley, will be pinning his badge. Haley is a first grade teacher at Confluence Academy in South St. Louis City.
All right.
Very good. Now the oath of office. Good job.
I, Nick Simon, do solemnly swear
I, Nick Simon, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and of the state of Missouri,
and of the state of Missouri,
the ordinances of the city of Brentwood,
the ordinances of the city of Brentwood,
and that I will faithfully and diligently demean myself
and that I will faithfully and diligently demean myself
at all times
at all times
while serving as a firefighter paramedic
while serving as a firefighter paramedic
for the city of Brentwood,
for the city of Brentwood,
for which I was officially appointed on the 30th day of January.
for which I was officially appointed on the 30th day of January 2023.
Congratulations.
Thank you very much, Chief, and welcome to the best municipal fire department in the county of St. Louis. Thank you. I next want to recognize Chief Spees.
Good evening, everybody. Major McIntyre and Hawkins are here with us. The officers are outside. Can you come in, please, and stand to my right? Come on. We're here tonight to welcome a new Brentwood officer. Thank you. Christopher Chambers is from St. Louis, Missouri. He attended Southeast Missouri University, where he earned a bachelor's degree in science. Shortly after, he attended Southern Illinois Edwardsville University, where he earned a Master of Science in Education. Chris has spent the last 3 years as a police officer with the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department, serving out of the North Patrol Division. During his time with the St. Louis Police Department, Chris was awarded the Medal of Valor in November of 2021 and Officer of the Month in August of 2022. When he is not working, Chris enjoys traveling, working out, and watching sports. Chris lives in St. Louis County with his beautiful wife Meredith and their 2 sons, Mason and Caleb. Mason and Caleb, can you guys stand up for a second? Meredith?
All right.
Welcome to our family. Very good, Chris. Major Hawkins, can you come forward and present his badge, please?
I, Chris Chambers, do solemnly swear
I, Christopher Chambers, do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support
and of the state of Missouri,
and of the state of
ordinances of the city of Brentwood,
the ordinance of the city of Brentwood,
and that I will faithfully and diligently demean myself
that I will faithfully and diligently
at all times
at all times
while serving as a police officer for the city of Brentwood.
as a police officer for the city of
I am officially appointed on the 16th day of February 2023. I know. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Brentwood.
Thank you, Chief. Congratulations, Christopher, and welcome to the best police department in the county of St. Louis. Thank you very much. We have no public hearing tonight. We do have, under number 6, citizen comments. If anybody online or in the room here would care to address the elected officials, you'll be given 3 minutes. Please introduce yourself with your name and your address.
There are no members.
Seeing as there's nobody here and nobody online, we'll move on to the next, which is the mayor and aldermanic report. I do not have a report as alderman. I do not have a report from the mayor. So I will ask Alderwoman Tice.
No report?
Thank you. Alderwoman Sunny Sims.
No report.
Thank you. Alderman Brandon Weggie.
No report.
Alderman Steve Lockmuller.
No report.
Alderman Jeff Gould.
No report.
Alderwoman Kathy O'Neill. No report. Alderman Jack Shelton.
No report.
Thank you, everybody. Number 8 is our city administrator report. Madam City Administrator, we'll have our representative from Navigate.
Good evening. Craig Schiller with Navigate Building Solutions. I'll be providing the Brentwood Bound update. The Brentwood Bound update will include the February 6th and February 21st warrant list, starting with construction costs. Total spent to date is $1,937,826.44. Next is soft costs. $122,122.28 was spent on legal, project management, surveying, material testing, design, utility, auditing, and marketing expenses. In the categories of funding below, the only change was the city received the economic development sales tax, an update on what the funds were received in 2022. This is the unaudited amount, but that amount was changed to $1,143,418.40. So that was an increase from the number that was previously reported. That's my update. I can take any questions.
Are there any questions? Alderman Lockmiller.
Greg, I just got a couple questions on the site down there. Everything's looking beautiful coming along down there. When the lampposts become operational, will the overhead, the Cobra lighting be taken out or turned off?
They will not. They will remain except the ones adjacent to Ace Hardware. MoDOT's looking at whether those will come out or not.
Okay.
But all the other ones will remain.
And then along right in front of Brentwood Place Apartments, there's like 3 lampposts where I guess there's some power lines, not power, but they're probably telephone lines.
Correct.
That are touching the lamps.
Yes. So yeah, those should not be touching the lights. After you sent that note, I went on site and looked, and then Dan called MoDOT, and they were not aware of that. So they're going to bring that up to the appropriate people and have those raised.
Okay. And the last question is later on in the consent agenda, we have some change orders. And I guess they originated out of MSD wanting to change something that they saw in the field. How come that's not caught in the first development plans?
A good question. So those were unforeseen conditions. So when the contractor's out actually digging the pipes, they come across poor soils that we just don't know about when it's in design. You don't know until you're actually digging. Some of these pipes are very deep. So when they're out digging, they found that there were poor soils. We call out the geotechnical engineer to review it. The geotechnical engineer makes a call on the spot that says you need to remove and replace these soils to support that pipe, and then the MSD inspector then validates that. So that's why those costs came up. There were unforeseen conditions. Nobody knew they were there, but they had to be dealt with to make sure the pipes can remain structurally sound.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Anybody else? Alderwoman Tice.
So I have a question about the decorative signs where the banners are going to go. They look great, and I had expressed some concerns a few weeks back on email, and then now I've heard from multiple constituents that I'm sort of curious why they were designed to be 8 feet apart. They look great. It just seems an odd placement to have 3 signs with banners so close together that you couldn't see them as you drove by. And I don't know if you can answer that tonight or if you need to look into it, but maybe there was a design reason that they were put 8 feet apart that then we could go tell our constituents, but I'm
Sure, good
curious about
question. We did check with Art Churis, who was a landscape architect for that. And the reasoning behind that is when you go down Manchester, there's a lot of vertical clutter. That's what they call it. So, you know, there's power poles, there's lights. I mean, when you just stand there and look down Manchester, there are so many vertical elements that are happening. So they wanted to put those signposts together in that tight format to draw attention to that and not let yourself get lost with all the other vertical clutter. And at first, I thought it was a little odd too, and I went and checked my drawings. But now you know, because my office is down there, I drive by it a couple times a day. It actually works. Like, I actually notice it now. Because it looks off, you notice it. And it's not like it gets lost with all these other power poles and all these other things that happen. So that's why. And it's grown on me, not to say that it's going to grow on everybody, but if the city were ever to want to change something, you would just want to do it after MoDOT finishes that project, which is supposed to be in July this summer.
Thank you.
Yes.
Alderman Muggy.
Hey, Craig, are you guys are watching the playground construction as well?
Correct.
Is that, how's that going? It doesn't seem like there's a lot of activity going on
Yeah,
down there
it's
right now.
going slow. It's been a really hard climate to build in right now. So the reason behind it is usually this time of year it's like really cold and things freeze up and you can work on the dirt. This has actually been a really abnormal February. If you remember last February, we had like 3 snow days in a row, or 3 snow days every single Thursday throughout February. And this year it's like goes from 60 degrees, tomorrow's supposed to rain, to snow. And what that means is that it's really hard to work in those conditions because the mud like never really gets hard enough to run machinery on. So we're hoping for some dry weather to really get out there. But it is getting a slow start, to answer your question. We just need weather to cooperate, and they'll quickly get out there and start working on it.
Okay, thanks.
Anybody else? Thank you for the report.
Yep, thank you.
Next is the consent agenda. Has everyone had a chance to review the items on that agenda, and is anybody asking that any of those items be removed? Seeing nobody, can I get a motion to approve the consent agenda as submitted?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? No further discussion. Roll call, please.
Alderman Plufka?
Yes.
Alderwoman Tice?
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims?
Yes.
Alderman Weggie?
Yes.
Alderman Gould?
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller?
Yes.
Alderwoman O'Neill? Alderman Shelton? Motion carries by a vote of 8-0.
Thank you very much. We move on to old business, and item A is Bill 6446 for a second reading. Mr. City Attorney, can we have that reading?
Bill number 6446, second reading and consideration for adoption. An ordinance amending Chapter 100 of the Brentwood City Code relating to suspension and debarment of vendors.
Very much. Can I get a motion to perfect Bill 6446 into ordinance form?
So moved.
Been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion? Seeing no discussion, roll call, please.
Alderman Plufka?
Yes.
Alderwoman Tice?
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims?
Yes.
Alderman Weggie?
Yes.
Alderman Gould?
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller?
Yes.
Alderwoman O'Neill? Alderman Shelton?
Yes.
By a vote of 8-0, Bill 6446 will become ordinance number 5077.
Thank you. Item B under old business is Bill 6447. Mr. City Attorney, can we have the second reading for that bill?
Bill number 6447, second reading and consideration for adoption. An ordinance relating to procedures for issuance and enforcement of subpoenas in furtherance of Board of Aldermen proceedings.
Very much. Can I get a motion to perfect Bill number 6447 into ordinance form?
So moved. Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Alderman Plufka?
Yes.
Alderwoman Tice?
Yes.
Bless you.
Bless you. Alderwoman Sims?
Yes.
Alderman Weggie?
Yes.
Alderman Gould?
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller?
Yes.
Alderwoman O'Neill? Alderman Shelton?
Yes.
By a vote of 8-0, Bill 6447 will become ordinance 5078.
Thank you very much. Item C under old business is Bill 6448.1. It's my understanding from reading this that the .1 change is to simply do a better job describing the fact that if there's a tariff increase by the Public Service Commission, it will not result in a change in the rate of tax assessed by the city of Brentwood. Is that a fair reading?
Yes, sir. It is the staff recommendation that the board consider amending Bill 6448 by the text of draft Bill 6448.1. The original legislation, as given first reading at your last meeting, reaffirms the city's policy of maintaining its tax rate in the face of, on utilities, in the face of the Public Service Commission granting a rate increase for fees charged by utilities within the city. It is recommended that you consider amending to do two things. Number one, the bill, the .1 bill emphasizes the fact that currently under the city's code, your gross receipts tax on utilities are only charged for non-domestic users of utilities. So points out to residents of the city that they do not pay this tax, which I thought was perhaps important to the constituents to know that. Secondly, there's already a provision in the city code which says, in accord with the governing state statute, that the city's policy is to maintain its tax rate in the face of rate increases granted to the utilities, but it only mentions Ameren, and this is a rate increase to Spire. So this bill also amends that provision of the city code to broaden it so that it is not restricted just to electric utility rate increases, but is universally applicable to utility rate increases granted by the PSC.
Are there any questions by anybody on the board with regard to that explanation? So seeing none, is the next way to proceed here is to ask for a motion to combine or to,
Amend Bill 6448 by the text of draft Bill 6448.1.
can I get a motion to do that?
So moved.
Second.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any further discussion? Seeing none, roll call, please.
Alderman Plufka?
Yes.
Alderwoman Tice?
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims?
Yes.
Alderman Weggie?
Yes.
Alderman Gould?
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller?
Yes.
Alderwoman O'Neill? Alderman Shelton?
Yes.
Motion carries by a vote of 8-0.
Now, Mr. City Attorney, can I get a second reading of Bill 6448.1?
Bill number 6448.1 as amended, second reading and consideration for adoption. An ordinance reaffirming the gross receipts tax to be imposed upon utility corporations providing services to non-domestic consumers within the city of Brentwood, Missouri, and amending section 605.1205 of the Brentwood City Code relating to same.
Can I have a motion, please, to perfect Bill number 6448.1 into ordinance form?
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
And is there any further discussion with regard to perfecting this bill? Seeing none, ask for a roll call vote, please.
Alderman Plufka?
Yes.
Alderwoman Tice?
Yes.
Alderwoman Sims?
Yes.
Alderman Weggie?
Yes.
Alderman Gould?
Yes.
Alderman Lockmiller?
Yes.
Alderwoman O'Neill? Alderman Shelton?
Yes.
By a vote of 8-0, Bill 6448.1 will become ordinance 5079.
Thank you very much. There is no new business before us tonight. There is a section of, second opportunity for citizen comments. If anybody online or anybody in the audience here wishes to address this board, you'll be given up to 3 minutes. Please come forward and state your name and your address.
There's no one online.
Seeing nobody in this room that wishes to address the board and seeing no additional items on the agenda tonight, I declare this meeting of the Board of Aldermen adjourned.